are live. Oh my God. We are.
We're alive.
Oh,
wow.
Holy. That is, wow, it's been a long time coming.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
Don't adjust your whatever you're on. Thing. Phone. iPad. Situation that you got going on right now. Don't adjust anything because we are live. We're coming to you live. Well, I'll be right back. Give me 1 second.
Life. Where are you going? He's leaving, folks. He's gone. He's gone. He's left the building.
We got the Harris Heller music going on right now.
Oh, excellent. Yeah.
All of you that have the bell rung are seeing Not Your Average Show has gone live. Yes.
Live.
So live.
Oh my gosh.
All right. I'm going to say the magic words. You know what they are?
Chat is up.
10 seconds and chat is up.
Okay.
10 seconds. 5 seconds. 4,
5,
3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody. Oh, wow.
Ew.
Wow. Just it
Wow.
is.
Wow.
Let's see it. My watch is
Wow.
reset itself.
Wow.
It is September 13th, 2021. And we are here live, Corey and I, in the Skype studio. Not Your Average Show. Why are we excited? Number one, we're excited because, hey, how are you?
Hey, we're good. Doing well. Staying dry as it usually seems to be the case here in Florida. It's raining.
It's raining by you?
And hot. It was earlier.
It's not raining.
Not now.
It's not raining by me, which is good. Yeah, it is this time of year where we are warmer than most of the average parts of the country, which is par for the course for us.
Which is average for
Florida. It is what it is, right?
For now.
Now you got me pulling up weather over here. I'm like, oh, let me check out weather. See what's going on in Corey. Oh, you're getting an actual rain. Oh yeah, we're not. It's just on top of you, or it was on top of you.
Rain. Yeah.
Yeah. So Corey had a vacation, and I got a sinus infection, so there was some delays in getting back on the air, which kind of sucks. So, but we're back. And one of the number one things I guess we have to address is the fact that we now are 360 subscribers strong, which is
thank you,
which is pretty massive for us. We're excited about that. So first off, hats off to everybody out there that has liked, subscribed, commented. Some of the comments have gotten juicy, especially on the Aptera video that we did. That people are
yes
really questioning whether or not what we're saying is what we're intending. I guess maybe we should preface this is an entertainment / educational / investment show that is basically for the broader subject of discussion, which is exactly what it's there for. So if you don't agree with us, that's great. I mean, we're gonna discuss it in chat.
Yeah, that's fine.
Or bring it here to the show and we'll talk to you guys live because we like the healthy conversation. And that's part of this whole thing, right, Corey?
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, just like Mike's saying, we appreciate everybody obviously being in the live show, but also checking out the videos that we post later that are, kind of, let's say, mission specific, whatever kind of your flavor is. But we also want to reiterate, we appreciate all the talk in the comments, whether even if it's like, hey guys, you know what you're talking about. Well, we happy to elaborate. There may have been a reason we didn't elaborate in the beginning, but also, as Mike kind of alluded to as well, we realized when we made the show it was going to be more like the banter we do anyway before we did the show. Like we find interesting things to talk about with each other, we share them, and we dip our toes in there and kind of talk about it, and if there's more meat to maybe be talked about later, we maybe do more research on it. And
absolutely,
we're not claiming to be experts in all of these fields. While we do admit we have a decent amount of experience in the aviation field and things like that, so There you go. But we do appreciate all the support, and we appreciate all the likes. If you haven't already, please just go down there, smack that like button, subscribe. We much appreciate it, and we'll bring you more stuff, more
Yeah,
content.
and I guess that's the point of it. When something comes out that's new, hot, and on top of the topics of the day that are technology-based cars, so on and so forth, we read just like you guys do. We read that article. We do a little bit of research because, again, that's the start of our research. That's literally the beginning of our process of how, like Corey says, is this something that we're going to want to talk about in the future? And that's what makes it to the actual show. We look at it as, hey, is this really discussable? And is there something there that in the not too distant future is going to be available for even more discussion, or it's going to be something that's going to impact our lives in those various ways in the not too distant future? So that is part of it. So we've got a whole handful of information for you today. Number one, we have a huge update from Jetoptera. This is direct information that they released on September 7th. And this is big news in the eVTOL marketplace. We're also going to be talking about a space plane that's been making some rounds over in the underbelly of the world that they've been testing this thing out. It actually looks pretty cool there. Lilium has taken to the skies as well and released their own video, I guess, to be in concert with Joby and a couple of the other ones, or Joby, excuse me, I keep saying that wrong.
Seems to be. Yeah.
They've got their videos out there, and of course, what's the other one? VTOL, or no, Volocopter, the other video that they had from.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of things there
From AirVenture, yeah. AirVenture,
and then we have
Air show.
Apple in their lawsuit with Epic, which is some information there.
Oh
which
man,
is
yeah,
ongoing.
that's ongoing.
And then finally we have Porsche's introduction into the EV racing market, and I do mean EV racing market because it looks like they're going to have their first Porsche Cup car in the R variant called the Mission R, which looks pretty exciting. So all great stuff to discuss.
And finally, at the very
yeah.
end, not to be forgotten, everybody, Wednesday this week at 8:02 local time, Eastern time, Inspiration 4, SpaceX launch of Inspiration 4, 4 people on board the Crew Capsule Dragon to go up as a. Well, we could talk about it, but it's the first fully private launch with SpaceX Dragon capsule, so it's pretty exciting. We're going to be, I think, on location.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Okay. Yes. We will. That was the only hampering, the only thing that would have probably delayed that would have been you. But I will miss my VW meet on Wednesday night and definitely be ready for a launch. It's been a long time since we've covered one. Number one, and I'm itching to do it, so that's fun. Number two, the follies that come with it, as in the technical ups and downs and glitches that we experience on a regular basis. That will be fun. Finally, we've got the new pop-up, which is going to be much better for the entire setup. Yep. So, yeah, we'll probably, I assume, and I'm just going to say I'm going to assume because there's a 5-hour launch window, we're probably going to be live.
Yes.
I usually say an hour before, but it usually ends up being more like 20 minutes before. But this time, we'll probably start setting up way earlier so we can be more prepared. And that'll be that. So, yeah. So, and if it's a much, and if nothing happens, we'll have a show prepared to do from there as well. So exactly. We'll just do that. So be there Wednesday night. We're looking forward to all you guys, and we appreciate it.
Wednesday night.
Okay.
Wednesday.
Enough silly banter. We need to get into the meat and potatoes of today's episode, which is number one. Like I said at the top of the show, Jetoptera is back in the news. And when I say Jetoptera is back in the news, I mean it, because they've been dormant mostly since they were selected for the AFWERX down select into the next level, announcing that they were going to obviously partner up with a big name, Northrop Grumman, in entering this process for the AFWERX, which is going to be the high-speed VTOL competition. And this comes directly from Jetoptera on their news releases. Is actually dated September 6th, 2021. And you guys can take a look at it firsthand with us, because what it basically says is Jetoptera is awarded a direct to phase 2 SBIR contract. That means that the U.S. Air Force has taken to a liking of Jetoptera's technology and their direct phase 2 small business innovation research. And that basically means that this awards them the ability to go ahead and start pursuing, the building of the fluidic propulsive system And after they actually entered the first competition, which was to make sure that it was actually in an anechoic chamber, that it met the regulations that the Air Force was looking for. But it looks like now they're
Mhm.
going to be able to get this thing built. And on top of that, not only that, they're saying that they're going to be able to build this thing and they're going to enable it into an aircraft to take off vertically and transition smoothly to a wing-borne flight. And there's going to be adapted high efficiency thrust and lift augmentation to a wing, okay, enabled aircraft. And on top of this, they're calling this the 3-in-1. And at the very middle, what they're saying here is the aircraft can also accelerate to jet speeds. Okay.
Mm,
Now, that little caveat right there is
quite
that is
interesting.
huge news, because this lays down the ability for Corey. He's going to give you a little bit more information on what it kind of all means in English. But what I can tell you right off the bat is it's going to get built. Number one, they have good partners. Number two, number three, this is almost better than an SPAC because you have the funding of the U.S. government. And
Yep.
last but not least, okay, uh, it's going to be a lot faster than people think. Take it away.
Yep. Cool. Yeah. So just my 2 cents on this too. So just maybe break down a little bit what you guys are looking at. So it says that Jetoptera was awarded the Direct to Phase 2 SBIR. Okay. Sounds
Yeah,
great.
yeah. What does it
Awesome. What
mean?
does that mean? Well, just so you guys kind of know, the SBIR is what the U.S. government. It's a U.S. government program that is a small business innovation research, and then also the small business technology transfer programs. Basically, what it is for the government to try to help companies with good ideas get the capital they need to actually like do these things and bring them to market, whether it's commercial or of course government entities that may also be interested. The program is in 3 phases. So again, in this case, Jetoptera has been awarded direct to phase 2. They were already in phase 1, as Mike's mentioned, with some things that were in wind chambers that the government did like, and then now has awarded them phase 2. Phase 2 does award Jetoptera some actual capital to do this contract. It's a 15-month contract for Jetoptera. Normally, it's 24 months, but this is a 15-month contract in this case. And at the conclusion of this, they may move to phase 3 of this program, but phase 3 is more of like commercialization. So the company would move into commercialization, actually building something they would actually bring to market. And there's no SBIR funds awarded in phase 3. However, that's the kind of time in phase 3 where other companies, other entities that may be interested in that technology would bring forth their own money for
Right.
further research and development or further contracts to bring to markets.
Also bears noting
So
one
it's
thing. They're
it's
fully funded on the WeFunder now. They raised their capital number. Yeah.
yes,
So that's
yes,
that's
yep,
another
yep. They're
thing.
at
Yeah.
1.5 or
1.5
something, I
mil.
think. So if you guys remember us talking about a while back, of course, Jetoptera had a WeFunder there. You could invest back in well, not I guess how many months ago were we
Oh
talking
God,
about
it was
that?
that night we discovered we were actually on the website.
September now must have been April,
Yeah.
maybe. It's been a while, and for a while they were I'm gonna say it, they were hovering around 400,000 or
Right.
so. And they've made a bunch of good public things lately, and so, yeah, they're funded, so it's going really good for
Yes.
Jetoptera now. We're obviously super excited and looking forward to hearing more from them. And yeah, awesome news. Again, as we always say, we'll keep track of this to see what we can tell you guys, and we're looking forward to it as well.
Yeah,
So
and I mean, so here's the thing, I guess, and this is part of what we need to discuss as the overall eVTOL marketplace is emerging, and that is that, again, we've said this many times. There's two different ways that you could go about this. You could go out and raise a lot of capital through an SPAC. You could turn around and make a company that could go public, okay, or you could turn around and just build great hardware and have the U.S. government fund it and then capitalize on that as you release it into the marketplace for the general public. Okay, and that's the route that Jetoptera is taking. The biggest thing to be taken from this is strategic partners. Okay, strategic partners like the U.S. Air Force, and having them be part of your quote unquote creative funding, and then turning around and going to WeFunder so you can maintain more of the creative control of what your product is going to do. And then finally, the fact that you're with Northrop Grumman, you have Honeywell, you have other companies on board that are huge players in the industry, speaks volumes for the fact of why I continually state unequivocally that these guys are one of the ones to watch. And I think Corey and I both share that excitement that this is one of those companies that has the potential to be an earth-shattering, evolutionary, if not revolutionary, company in
Mhm.
that space. So that bears
Yep.
noting.
The reduction in sound, yeah, reduction in sound, and the fact that now they publicly stated, yeah, that their technology can attain jet speeds. Yep.
See, and that's going to be
There's a lot to
yeah,
digest there.
because look, for what we know, Joby and Lilium and the other entrants into the marketplace can't do jet speed. Okay, jet speed is a
I haven't seen anything that
right.
says that.
Okay, and
Right.
I think
So
the nuance there is that when you get into that caveat, right, speed is going to change the game of this, because when you have the ability to have this device that not only can do maybe urban VTOL, okay, that type of mobility, but this thing can now do,
right.
transitional flights, meaning it can get you 500 nautical miles from point A to point B at jet speeds and still land in a hover
Yep. In like an
in an
hour.
hour. Now
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
really opening up a landscape that a lot of people I don't think are even, quite frankly, sure what to make of it, because now you're talking about a downtown heliport being connected from, say, lower Manhattan to, say, Charlotte, okay, and being capable of being done, and that's a game changer. So hey,
Yeah. And of course, I mean, we can read between the lines too, right? I mean, having Northrop Grumman on board and Air Force and all that. I mean, it's not just commercial applications we would imagine would be
yeah, sure.
here, and that's not a stretch. I mean, I can see it on the wall.
I don't know
So,
what you're speaking of, Corey.
um,
What are you talking
yeah, I know.
about?
There's nothing we can really speak about
Right.
anyway. But I mean, that's the yeah,
Okay, and the
yeah.
other part of it is, look, we've personally left Andre and Todd from Jetoptera alone because we knew they were in a critical phase of development. We have an ongoing conversation with them.
They
We
are
have an
busy.
open email chain with them. We basically left it open for a reason, because I'm sure they're going to watch this. Number one. Number two, we did because they said they were busy, and we were like, you know what? Let's let them focus on what they need to get done, and then we'll get back to them. And now's that time that we're probably going to reach in, because I'm sure once this announcement
Mhm.
was made, they had to make all sorts of different plans anyhow. But now's that time. So look forward to that. It's coming. All right,
Amazing,
folks, like,
amazing.
subscribe. Yeah,
Very
very
exciting.
exciting. Like, subscribe, follow. Let us know what you guys think down in the comments below. We've left you some links, and then we'll see where this is going to develop. With that said, I think we discussed who's doing what. So what?
I'll bring up Dawn
Okay.
Aerospace.
So yeah, you could go to.
The next one.
You can have the Dawn Aerospace. Table, sir, is yours.
Cool, cool, cool. Kick it off. So this next one comes to us from our website we use often here and there. New Atlas. It's called Reusable Spaceplane Demonstrator completes 5 test flights in 3 days. So this one's actually a little bit. I'm not going to say dated. It's a little bit in development, a little bit a few weeks back. But again, we were traveling around. So, but here you go. So it's a model space plane, a demonstrator from Dawn Aerospace. This is a New Zealand company, and this is their 5 test flights of an uncrewed Mk2 Aurora suborbital space plane, is what it is. And basically, the idea is this spaceplane is going to. Their idea is it will enable them to launch from, like a plane. It'll be eventually the Mark III, a 2-stage vehicle, in which part of it certainly is reusable, and it will be able to get to suborbital altitudes, about 62 miles, they're
Yeah.
saying, and then come back down and land like a plane, of course. So it's what if you followed launching satellites in orbit, there's always been a thought, okay, we can use rockets, of course, but can we just have a plane that just takes off like a plane and lands like a plane and just drops satellites up in orbit? And this is kind of going
Yeah,
along
we
with
have nice
that.
things.
I do want to touch on that the company itself. Again, let's remember it's called Dawn Aerospace. If you go to Dawn Aerospace website, you'll find out that they also do things like engines and thrusters for satellites already, and they have some contracts. They've been doing that. They've been already doing that, right? So they're in to their repertoire. And so there's some interesting things over there too. If you go over and look at that, to do with like they just selected or just got selected by UARX Space. They selected Dawn Aerospace to provide the propulsion for one of their upcoming space tugs, which will be something that will launch like CubeSats and things like that. And and put those in orbit. So it's pretty cool to go check out all the things they do. But the spaceplane itself, to get back to this article, was doing some test flights with just kind of more standard engines, not solid rocket fuel, but just jet engines,
Right.
just to get some aerodynamics and flying in atmosphere, because it only went up to, I think, 3,400 feet. So not super high, guys. We get that, but I guess the thing we're looking at is longer term, right? Just like
Yes.
Jetoptera, we want to be in early, see what they're doing. Oh, that's quite interesting, and then kind of see where it goes in the future. So that's this one.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Mike?
So it's the Mk2 Aurora. I played the video in the background while you were talking about it, right? And you know,
Yep.
the 2-stage orbit vehicle is going to be the Mk3, but of course, this is the test bed, right? This is the one that's going to get everybody excited for what's essentially
Yep.
can there be in the not too distant future an aircraft that is, or quote unquote spacecraft that is capable of a standard launch, right? It doesn't use a specific launch platform. It uses a runway. It launches off. It uses
Yep.
a booster, but it actually has the ability to get up into space high enough. And they're saying a 550-pound at the very first stage, payload, right? 500.
I think that's the Mark II.
That's the Mark II,
That's
right?
the Mark
That's the
II.
Mark II.
Yeah.
Okay, so but the thing is,
That's not the Mark III.
right?
Yeah.
But that's the ultimate goal, right? The ultimate goal is
Yeah.
that that's where
Yeah.
they're looking to make their impact here in the marketplace. And obviously,
Yeah. Initially.
sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So
Yeah.
so obviously with the difference between CubeSats, right, and people wanting to put smaller payloads or test equipment up into space, this is perfect. It fits that market space, right? And I think that's great. Again, like you said, it's entry level. These guys have got a lot of places to go, right? If they do want to make a run at it, and they said that eventually they do want to make a run at commercial air travel this way, there's another player. Because let's look at what the future looks like for commercial air travel. All of a sudden, you have Starship, you have supersonic transports coming
Yep.
back, and you now have other players that are looking at the fact that the higher you go, the more efficient you can get, the more speed you can cover. So higher, faster, cheaper is now part of those elements, because the technology is there to use different construction, both materials and advanced construction techniques, to cut your costs, that make this a more acceptable area to get into as far as travel.
I think that was always our concern when we first started talking about really quick planes that were gonna go hypersonic transports. Was just that, okay, technology's there. We know it can be done. Can you do it cheap
Right.
enough for like the general public to want to do this? So that was always the thing,
Right.
right? And we know, just as Mike said, right? We got Elon with the big Starship to put a bunch of people on, and you take off from offshore and land somewhere else on the other side of the world. Sounds cool, right?
Right.
But we got other players, and this is another one too. The Dawn Aerospace Mark III eventually is their idea, right? To fly around the world. So yeah, it's just I'm just curious to see what price point will actually hit the general public. I think that's the biggest
All right.
thing.
So I have a caveat there. Faster is what we value, right? Faster is what we value, in the sense of that if we can arrive at an answer faster, which most of us try to do in our daily diagnosis of our days, okay, we're happy at the fact that we can get to an answer faster. We're in a constant rush. But then we look at it as time is money, which means speed is money, right? So all these things that are based off the element of speed, of what you're going to get back, and the time and the energy. Just to go right back to what you said is, yes, we've always asked that question, because it's a constant revolving loop about what you can save in time, which will be basically money saved, right? But now you're talking about that same thing, that same equation coming over. Can you do it for that price? It's a big question, and look, that's ultimately what's going to make the difference between whether this round of SSTs or whatever else is coming in the future is going to survive. Is, can it be economically presented to the marketplace and survive? So yeah, all in the same.
Yep.
So, true.
Yeah, can they make money? I mean, that's what it's all about anyway. So
Right. Well, when you say it like that, it's
I mean, one could gonna be somebody somewhere, if it's government or military or whatever, that would have the desire to fund these, but this is in the public space, right? This is intended to, as it says right down here, it's intended to multiple daily launches, space planes on a commercial model. That pretty straightforward. It says right there. So just interested to see where it goes, because I mean it's super cool. I mean, hey man, 30 years from now, want to go to Tokyo for lunch?
That'd be great. Let's see where, it's funny. Let's see where it goes. But
Oh,
oh, that's good.
shh.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Hey, do the outro.
Yep, like, share, subscribe. You guys know the drill. But again, if you do appreciate just having a bit of extra spice in your day, thinking about some stuff maybe you didn't see in your normal feed, hey, go down there, hit that like button. We very much appreciate it. Like and subscribe, the bell. You guys know all that, so you'll see when we're live as well. You can participate in the live shows, but then also see the videos we post later, the clips that you might also like. So
there you go. Yeah, excellent, excellent. Okay, with that, we're gonna move on to the next topic. Should we do Lilium, Apple, or Porsche? I'll let you decide.
how about, since we talked about the order, so that being the case, how about you do Apple and then I'll pick up Lilium?
Okay, perfect. Yes,
Yep.
awesome. Okay, so this one is a little different, and it's only because we mentioned it way back when this first got thrown out, and it bears mentioning that anytime a major name like Apple, Google, or someone else in the big tech region gets good news, bad news, indifferent news, you want to keep a track of it, and especially when it might affect their business. And that is that Apple, this comes to you from CNBC, in their ongoing lawsuit with Epic Games, well, there's been a judgment. Okay, and the funny thing about this judgment is it's not exactly what you think on the surface, which means Epic was petitioning the fact that they could not include their own game store inside their very famous, popular online portable game, Fortnite, which they said, hey, we should be able to have people come into the Fortnite game store and be able to purchase directly through us so we could cut out the middleman. And they complained to Apple and to Google, so that notwithstanding they're just Apple, that this is probably going to affect. And they basically sued him. They said, look, you have an unfair advantage. You guys got us by the short and curlies in the fact that we have to be in the App Store, but we can't name our own price inside of our own internal app. And basically, he went to court. And so Apple won. Here's the interesting part. There was 10 decisions being handed down by this court. Okay, and this is by Judge Yvonne Gonzalez Rogers. Okay, and what ended up happening was he said that basically out of the 9 of the 10, Apple won 9, but the 10th one that they lost was that Apple will no longer be allowed to prohibit developers from providing links or other communications that direct users away from Apple in-app purchasing. Okay, and Apple typically takes 15 to 30% on this. Now, here's the caveat. Apple all along was trying to kind of come to some sort of solution with Epic. They were saying, hey, we'll allow you to email customers directly and basically put a link in there to your side stores. We're trying to figure out a way to work around this. But in essence, what basically happened here was they said, look, you can't have it both ways. These guys do have the ability, if they're going to make a product, they do have the ability to showcase within their own product their ability to sell their own wares. Now, here's the thing. Apple has not appealed the decision. Epic Games has, because I'm assuming out of the other 9 accounts that are actually in this decision, there's other things that are embedded there that they feel were critical towards them having a landfall decision and giving them the ability to control their direction of their own business. So for you, Corey, I asked the question, if it's happening to Apple, what's going to be the deal with Google and what's going to be the deal with this space? Because, massively online playing games in the phone universe are huge. They're big money. And, the gaming consumption habits of people have changed where they expect the game for free, but the content to be paid for through microtransactions. So it's a little different. What do you think?
Yeah, it's interesting because if you read more about this, there's a whole bunch of little information nuggets that are interesting in there. They talked about trying to even define what a game is, and there wasn't a solid consensus on what a game is.
Okay.
Because the director of Epic was talking about how a game has competition and there's a goal and it has an ending, and then in the ruling that definition wasn't used, so there's even some discrepancy there of what a game is. So again, as you kind of mentioned, there's more probably going on that Epic wanted, which again was to talk about the appeal. So there's maybe more things that have a longer term effect than just this one thing. However, like you said, this is pretty big. I dare say it's pretty epic, right? Because I had to throw it in there, right?
You're
'Cause
doing it.
we got all
You're
the
just doing
dad
it
jokes
like
here.
on
Yep.
purpose now. So go ahead.
Yep.
That's fine.
Yeah, well, yeah, but there, yeah, but the fact that and you asked me earlier about about Google, because obviously if you guys don't know, Mike is an Apple user and I happen to be on the Android ecosystem. But anyway, I can say, if I was forced to if I was playing a game or even an app, let's say on my phone that I got through Google Play, the
Right.
marketplace on Google. And in that, they offered extra features for maybe in that app or the game that I could buy from within the game, or go to the website and buy their personal homepage and then get them cheaper. And then Apple or Google was telling me I couldn't do that. That would be upsetting, because it may be such a case that I couldn't get the app from somewhere else.
Right.
Because again, the average user, and I'll generalize a little bit here, but the average user probably isn't going to either know how to or want to side load apps on their device.
Unless you have a Quest.
And there are reasons that you might want to try that too, because of security for viruses and things. If you sideload apps, you might get something you didn't really want to get. So there's certainly advantages to getting an app through a marketplace interface like Google Play or the App Store on iPhones.
Absolutely.
So it's a bit harder to unpack all this, as you'd say. So yeah, it's interesting to see. But nevertheless, that one count is a good decision for the general consumer, let's say.
Yeah, and so here's the thing. So it says here that the video game developer Apple, pays 30% of all its revenue it collected from Fortnite and iPhones and iPads through direct payments. Okay, and there's obviously big money on the line here. Okay, and that's the thing. And when you say, what is the difference between a game, or a skill set based app, and this is the other caveat, right? If it's a word processor and you wanted to sell new fonts through your word processor, right? You still wouldn't be able to really do that if you were using it through Apple's store, right? You would still have to use the same constringent, policies that Apple has. And look, I'm not knocking it in the sense of, in a naive way. I want to make sure that people understand. I don't know all the downstream elements that take place in the circle of developers and how much money is lost or made on these microtransactions and how much it really hurts them and how much it benefits Apple. That's not really the point. It's changing the stance of two different platforms, meaning Apple and Google, and the way that they interact with their people. So, and all the time that Corey and I have been friends, never once have we both approached each other and said, you should really get this because it's on this, this, and this, and this, or you should really get that because it's on that, or this platform, right? Where am I going with this? The point of it is, it doesn't make a difference. They're the two largest user base electronic components on the face of the planet right now. And with that, they're going to have to come to some meeting of the minds with their developer base, because they don't want to lose developers based on this, right? It's bad business for them to lose out on some of these bigger markets.
Mm-hmm. Not the crazy thing, kind of like you alluded to earlier, like a new system may come out. I'm talking a little bit back in the day, right? If a new console comes out and you're like, that console is super powerful, I want to play games on that. But then you realize they screwed it up and they have no developers, so they have no games you can have. And you're like, why would I buy the new system? There's nothing to play on there.
No, that's true. And that speaks perfectly. Yeah,
because people hold on to their mobile devices longer now than they used to. Again, the devices are getting more powerful, more expensive, so a little bit more an investment. So Apple, Google, they want you to hold on to that iPhone longer than you used to. Google wants you to hold on to that Pixel phone or whatever, longer, because they want to get as much money out of you while you hold that device in front of you before you maybe go look at a different device.
Sure.
And if you, like, let's say if Mike's over there with his iPhone and for whatever reason he says, you know what, I'm going to go, my next phone's an Android phone. By saying that, there are so many things Apple's going to lose out on if you go, and hey, this is hypothetical. What if I said I'm going to go to Apple? If I'm going to leave Google and go to Apple? All of the things that Google gets by having advertisements on my phone or through the Play Store, all that is out the window because I'm on a new ecosystem.
Yeah,
so
my ecosystem.
So they
is
want
Apple.
you to stay there.
Yeah,
they want you to stay there as long as possible. And so yeah, I agree with you. They're gonna want to try to make this work, and of course, Fortnite is super successful anyway. If you guys are watching this and don't know what Fortnite is, it's hugely successful video game.
It's about the money. But that also,
yeah,
that also is another one is about, you said if there's not enough good games for it, no one's going to come there. And look, to follow a very successful platform, Steam. Okay, Steam has done very, very well in this environment, and they've also had their ability to have these discussions with their developers, and they're developer concentric, and that has enabled Steam to go back and make a gaming platform for Steam Deck, right?
That's true.
So
That's true.
it works both ways here, folks. So this conversation is going to be ongoing, but I want to see what's going to happen with the fallout with Google. That's going to be the next hat to drop in that arena. So, all right, folks. Hey, like, subscribe, follow. Let us know what you think in the comments below, whether or not Apple and Google can survive this ongoing battle with Epic and their developers, and who's going to be the ultimate winner in the long-term money war about how much money it's going to make and how people stay successful on those platforms. Let us know in the comments below. We'll be looking forward to hearing from you. Okay, we got a couple left here. We've got the Porsche and we've got Lilium. So I think you're going to go to Lilium.
Yep, let's pick up the Lilium one. So if you're good to go,
I'll
start
happy to hand it off to you, sir.
Amazing. So this next one comes to us from New Alice, and it says Lilium releases 5th gen eVTOL flight test footage with sound this time. And so if you guys don't know, they've got the new 5th gen electric VTOL. This, if you're not familiar, Lilium's the one that's a pretty sleek design, really, but its main thing is it's a whole bunch of smaller ducted fans. So typically, smaller ducted fans, you'd say, would be less efficient in a hover than something with larger surface area, like a larger blade or propeller. But they say at higher speed, this is more efficient this way. But nevertheless, there's a video of this one this time. It was released on YouTube the 8th of September, so a little bit ago. But the thing really take away from this, right, is it has sound, and we are picking that out in particular because there's been other videos from, let's say, Joby recently that had some sound in the video as well. And I might just say, for example, it's while we would look at this video from Lilium and say, okay, it seems to be perceivable, certainly, and maybe let's say, oh, the Joby video sounds a bit quieter. I want to kind of just not jump so far to those conclusions just yet, because we don't know. I mean, it has a distance here, but we don't know if, particular like directional mics on one video or not.
Right.
I mean, it's hard to say because both of them say they're remotely piloted. There was no, we don't know if they're at max gross weight, which would require more lift, which would seem to be they would probably be louder in those cases. There's a few things we still don't know.
All right, so you want me to roll the video really quick? I'm going to roll it so we can actually
the new Lilium.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yep, I'll take it out for a second.
So hold on a second.
Been forever, so getting back in the saddle, shake the cobwebs off, and then we're gonna head over and help my brother.
Hold on, what the?
To get his plane ready for the air races.
Something else is going on here. Hold on, we got the wrong. There's another audio source coming in. Oh, that's what's going on. Hold on a second. There was another. It triggered off another video from another YouTube source. So hold on 1 second here. Let's re-queue this one up because I don't want you guys to miss this one, because this is going to be with full audio, and this is it coming in. I just want people to be able to hear it for themselves. Pretty quiet.
It is.
You can also see it disturb the lilies, whatever that is in the crash.
Oh yes, it's real, folks.
It is
not CGI.
But also goes to show you at what altitude you're going to expect to see some sort of. It also speaks at what altitude you can expect to see some sort of, some sort of blowover off of building structures and other things in the future. So go on. Sorry, that I just wanted to play that so people get a good look.
Yeah, no. So again, you can hear that. It sounds, at least to me, it sounds like it's probably a higher pitch noise than the audio from the Joby video we saw. Yes. Not really surprising. Again, we talked about the rotor size, and again, that's why I'm bringing it up, because we talk about audio or sound pollution being a big hindrance to obviously helicopters in the past, but also now this wave of eVTOLs, this whole new sector that's becoming a thing. So I'm just bringing it up. Sounds a bit higher pitched than Joby's, but again, we've heard the logic of why. Lilium being pitched as a little bit further range, a little bit faster speed. Anyway, but again, I don't want to jump to too many conclusions because, like we said, we don't know what the weight was. I mean, they give you some data there, the altitude and the time of day, and okay, that's great. But we both of the videos were remotely piloted. We don't know if they were anywhere near max gross. We don't really know a lot of the stuff. So it's cool to see to hear it now. I think that's the first video that I've heard it. So that's cool. But I guess I'm just it's like, I don't want to sound like broken record, folks, but we just we're pilots. We want to know how much did it weigh, like
how long is it fly for?
We need more information. Well, we need more information. So
look, I mentioned in the video, right? I mentioned you could see that that it was disturbing the air underneath it, and you could see that there was a pattern developing underneath the aircraft as it flew over the grass, right? And we know this specifically in helicopter world. We see this. You got about 300 feet from the surface of anything, and you could start to see your downwash on the ground underneath you. And that would be directly affected by what direction the wind was. So if the wind was off your nose, it would be behind you. If if you were in a downwind condition, it would be in front of you, and so on and so forth. And that's going to be something that we also spoke about that air car. You're not going to be parking these things in a garage, on the hover, because it's going to be blowing stuff all over the place. Right?
Oh yeah.
So there's still a lot of caveats with all this new technology and people dumping billions of dollars into it. That look, you still have massive influences of air. You still have induction. Like, I want to know, can this thing induce itself into its own vortices still? Is there a condition where some of these microsystems can turn around, and if there's a wall and it gets too close to the wall, will that backlash, come over into one side of the wing? And is it capable of producing more thrust on that side to overcome that? I'm sure it is, but these are all questions that, look, you're in an S-Pack, you're not getting that answer. In a pamphlet, you're not getting that answer. In a this, that, and the other thing. And these are all being tested in perfect world conditions, meaning there's no obstacles. They're flying in circles. They're flying over airports. Everything that we've seen from all these manufacturers right now are very first step basic stuff. And this is another one from Lilium. And you've said it more than I could. Still a lot of questions. Tons.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. I don't have much else to add. I mean, just like Mike was touching on some aerodynamic stuff we know about, but we don't want to get into, induced flows and but yeah, it's something we just want to know more.
Would you like to know more? Yes.
Yes,
there we
please.
go. Yes, we would. Okay, we've got to start moving along here because we're running out of time. So here we go. Hey, remember, like, subscribe, follow. I'll close that one out because we need to move into the last part here, which is just a kind of a look on basically what's coming up from Porsche. We've been big fans of their products. We know that this is something that we might see in the Rolex in the not too distant future. This one comes to you from the Rob Report, and it's just a quick look, and we're not going to discuss it too much, but we want to just pop it in there because Corey's got some stuff about inspiration coming up. But anyhow, that's the first look at Porsche's Mission R concept, which is a battery-powered GT3 Cup car on steroids. First off, it's a cup car. Number one, it's gorgeous. The thing is pretty beyond belief. Okay, I like the looks of it. It's electric.
Looks pretty good.
They are looking at making this basically the possible invention of their 911 GT3 Cup car that is going to be electrically powered. All right. So there are some other things here that are worth mentioning. It's got a 320 kilowatt motor in the front and two power plants deliver. There's actually another 480 kilowatt motor in the rear. But there's a multitude of motors in there that actually says that they've got almost a total of 1,090 horsepower. And that's double the current output of the 510 horsepower in the Porsche GT3 Cup car. Okay, they're saying 0 to 60 in actually 62 seconds in 2.5 seconds, which is amazing.
Pretty good.
Now, a lot of the things that you guys understand that also, look, this also comes from the same group that has had their VW version of, what was it, their Concept R, which has been running around racetracks destroying records, especially on the ring. So to kind of see maybe that there's some technology that's reskinned, that's thrown underneath this bad boy, that's probably likely. They're saying it can be recharged from 5% to 80% capacity in minutes. which is quite exciting.
That's pretty exciting. Yeah, that's pretty
That is
impressive.
pretty exciting. And the pictures are basically still stunning. It's got the standard Porsche design of all of their cup cars that have had, I'd say, exquisite lines. And this thing is no different. She's a beauty. She's a looker. And what's your feeling on this one, Corey? Quickly.
Yeah, it's super interesting to see another electric car coming in, especially from a big player like Porsche. And this one, as you said, it looks really quite stunning. Looked quite good. I'm interested to see what it does, how it goes. You were mentioning, I know, the Ring just a bit ago. I think I told you too. Some other random Tesla news. The Porsche or the Tesla Plaid set that what was it, 7-minute 30 around
Oh,
the
yeah.
ring.
We'll be talking about that this week.
Bone stock. So
Yep.
there's more electric stuff going on. But this car in particular, I'm really interested to see it actually driving.
Yes.
Because it's pretty exciting. I mean, it's good to see that tech Porsche is really kind of embracing in a way and sharing this tech between platforms. Because it's good to see that that's the case, because obviously if they're saying that this thing can charge that quickly, 5 to 80% in 15 minutes, that I would be hoping to see that make it some road applications as well, you know.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
it's, although I have to caveat as we're going through here and reading about the Formula E series, that I don't know, I'm not quite a fan of the E series just yet. Things that go fast, always exciting, but I don't know. I mean, it's a bit of a dichotomy, right? Here I am. I drive a Tesla Model 3, but man, when I want to watch racing, I want to hear some
A lot
freaking
of
noise.
earplugs.
And that's just me.
Yeah.
But there you go.
That's
So
true.
yeah.
We'll take a look at
So-
this a little bit more in depth when we get a chance, and I'm sure there's going to be more information coming out of it. Unfortunately, we've got to move on to the last thing we have to do for today, which is more important, which is going to talk about the parts of everything coming together for what we do here on the show. And we're just going to close out. Hey, like, subscribe, follow. We'll talk more about this Porsche. Let us know in the comments below what you think about it.
Yep.
But Corey's just going to talk to you lastly about something that's really important, because we're going to be there to cover this bad boy, and we want you guys to know that we will be there. So take it away, Corey. Oop.
Yep. So an overall recap. Remember, this Wednesday, the 13th. Excuse me. The geez, what is it? The 15th. 15th. This Wednesday, the 15th, at 8:02 as of right now, 8:02 p.m. Eastern time. There's going to be a SpaceX launch from the east coast of Florida. We're going to be there live to cover it from our position about 12-ish miles away. We're very excited about that. Come join us back for that. Probably about an hour before. We'll post some stuff on our on our YouTube. But it is for the Inspiration 4 launch of SpaceX, and this is pretty significant because it's going to be the first all-civilian mission to orbit.
Good luck to these guys.
Orbit, right? Not low Earth orbit or anything, but like orbit. Of a crew, right? And it's going to be on top a Dragon capsule on top of a Falcon 9 rocket. And if you just a real quick recap, it's gonna be it's kind of funded by a guy named Jared Isaacman. He's basically the founder and CEO of Shift for Payments. He's been a jet pilot. He's actually formed Drake International, the largest private air force, which helps train U.S. Armed Forces. So a bunch of cool stuff there. He's going to be the commander. And then they go along with four concepts. Leadership, which is going to be the commander, Jared. Hope, which is going to be Haley. She's a bone cancer survivor. When she was 10, she got diagnosed and then was able to overcome that. Now is a physician's assistant at St. Jude's, which is a big part actually of this whole rocket is to get some awareness about St. Jude's. Chris is going to be for kind of going along with the generosity concept. U.S. Space Camp counselor, U.S. Air Force, was working on ICBMs for the U.S. Air Force, got deployed, and got a degree from Embry-Riddle, a whole bunch of stuff there. And then Dr. Proctor about the concept of prosperity, and a geoscientist, explorer, and space communication specialist with a whole bunch of other stuff. So it's going to be really cool. They're going to go up to orbit for multiple days, do some experiments while they're up there, and it's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Currently, as it stands right now, we just checked. Weather is 80% go, so pretty good chance we're going to have good weather. And Mike, what do you think? Man?
First of all, hey, I'm super excited to get back on coverage of a launch. Number one. Number two, you and I sitting at a desk is actually. So guys, just so you know, before any of this channel ever took place, if there was ever a launch and there was a window of time for Corey and I to go out and sit and watch it, we would generally be like, hey, you're going to go watch the launch.
Yep.
So, and if we weren't working and literally watching it from an aircraft, this is something we enjoy. The specialness of this one is it's again it's crewed, so we've only had 3 crewed missions in the last 10 years, roughly 10 years, I think, about almost, from this part of the world, and that's important. Number one. Number two, the risks are still there for a crew to go up into space, and especially when they go orbital, and especially when they're doing it in an aircraft that is obviously well engineered, but there's always risks. Okay, there's always a risk. And so for this crew,
You're launching
yeah,
rockets. Yeah.
okay, it takes a lot of guts to sit on top of something that is basically, 99% more fuel than it is parts. Okay, that's pretty gutsy, especially when it's about to travel at really, really phenomenal speeds. And others have, ultimately paid the price for this. But the fact that this is an inspiration, that this is all a hand-selected crew, and it means a lot as a first in space for us as a civilian population in space, is immense. And it's actual, I think, you can't understate the power that this has as to us as a species. So that's all I got. It's good. It's good.
It's very
It's
exciting. Yeah, we're very excited. So we're gonna be there.
Yeah.
So keep watching the channel. Please, this in particular, please like, share, subscribe to keep track of this. We're gonna be going live, like we said, to cover this launch just in a few days. So if you want to know when we go live and see it as you would see it if you're standing there with us on the coast, that's totally why we're doing
Yep.
it. So please like, share, subscribe, hit those buttons down below. Very much appreciated. And we hope to see you.
Yeah,
then.
and write yourself a little note, 7 o'clock on Wednesday night if you got nothing better to do, no sports on or something like that. Hey, I'm going to be tuning out the Yankee games and other things just so I can sit and watch the rocket launch. Although I'll probably still be looking at it. But hey, folks, hey, yeah,
These things happen.
we are happy to be back. I'm ecstatic that we're back. Things might be changing. We're still looking at other things that might change our schedule again in the not too distant future. But we're hoping to get you some new content. We appreciate all the support out there, guys. So keep it coming. We're going to see you on Wednesday. And that's about all I got. That's it, folks.
I'm good.
Thank you very much for tuning
Take it
in. And
easy.
we will see you Wednesday.
Stay safe. Catch you next time.
Peace. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Take it easy.
Later. I hope it was show 75, right? I did change the number. Yeah. Okay,
Yes,
good.
sir. 75.
75.
It was 75, yes.
So, yeah, there's that.
Yeah, there's that.
All right. Well, it is time.
Tis time. Yep, no, I'm good.
All
Yep.
right, folks.
Exactly.
Well, thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you real soon. Have a great afternoon.
Take it easy.
Bye-bye.
Catch you tomorrow or Wednesday, all that good stuff.